Evening, guys, and welcome back. My name's Adam. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. As always, Baker is here with me this evening. How you doing, mate?
Very well, mate. Very,
Of course you
very
fucking
well.
are.
I am. Well, I mean, we're not. We shouldn't say. I've seen a lot of beef around the fact of saying where we are on scores, sort of halfway through a game week type things, but it's going well so far. I mean, don't really know what to do at the rank I'm at, but other than have a whiskey.
Well,
24-year-old whiskey. This is big. I only drink this if it's a good week. So
you deserve it, mate. You deserve it. You're absolutely flying. And for anyone that is interested in midweek ranks or whatever, they're above us on YouTube, and you're sitting just outside the top 1K, and I'm sitting just outside the top 235K. different levels, mate.
It's a mad week. It's just been so punishing.
Yeah, I mean, you were literally on one side of the coin or the other. I mean, there's no middle ground this week. You either had it or you didn't. And before we've had weeks before where we've sort of said if you had this player, you had a good week, and then everyone else was kind of on this this plateau, middle ground area. And then if you didn't have any of those, which should have been stupid, you'd have had a bad week. But it's normally like one player, two players might have just propelled you above everyone else. This week, you either had it or you didn't. And yeah, it's been pretty tough for those that have suffered. But there's a lot of people who have had very good game weeks, and fair play to all of you. I'm very happy for you with my with my nice face mask on, the face mask with the smiley on the outside. Yeah, that one. That's exactly where I am right now.
Yeah, I feel like I'm one of the only people I've seen that is almost like tracking where they should be in a way, because I should have a good week this week. I've bench boost, so I have used a chip, so you expect to have a good week in that. That's the caveat. So yeah, although it's good, I'm sort of doing as well as I should be by the looks of things. But I was amazed at actually how many chips were played. I thought there'd be quite a few. But I think you saw the massive split of bench boost versus triple captain. Now that's almost made a full picture, isn't it? So if you look at it, is whether you're in the top 10K or not, I think it's always worth you sort of just looking at the top 10K because they're all engaged. When you get the overalls, you've got to remember there's a load of teams which might not ever use their chips. So it's better probably in many ways to use.
Or they've used them in the first 5 game weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just such a hard way to tell it. But what you've now got is a picture where like 80% have used their triple captain and 18% have used their bench boost. And I think it's just that, the 28ers, that wild card have gone, and played that bench boost this week. And the 26 triple captainers have not, but quite a few of those have now used wildcard. 31% of the top 10K use a wildcard. I just couldn't believe it actually when it refreshed, of suddenly seeing these ownerships that are out of nowhere. Just massive 50% of the game in the top 10K. So over 5,000 of those people played a chip this week, and so I think that is the other part to console yourself with if it is the bad week, is if you played a chip, you probably had a good week this week, and if you didn't, it's just been brutal for many.
Yeah, I mean, I said it at the start of the week. I mean, when I put my team out, I probably shouldn't have taken the hits that I did, but I said, look, I just want to survive the next 3 weeks, and that's what I was hoping for. And I was hoping for like City to match Chelsea from a clean point of view, which they didn't. Didn't expect James to go nuts, but that is what it is. Went outside the grain for captain. I'm gonna say it, mate, but I brought back in essential Salah for KDB. Right. It feels like you make the right. It feels like for me, you make the right decision, and then you get a poor outcome, and then you make a punty decision, and you still get a poor outcome. So you can be safe or you can be risky, and in fact, really, you just have absolutely no control as to what's going to happen after that deadline goes. But
even that Salah one's actually quite funny, isn't it? Because initially when you said it, I was like, well, yeah, we're going to go Salah anyway. And then I feel, what do you think about it, actually?
I wasn't. Well, no, I toyed with not. I toyed with not waiting until 29 to bring him back in. But anyway, I mean, that was only a flash, really.
Yeah. But maybe the play was to go for more the doublers and just say, hey, KDB versus Salah, if it's a game off, it's going to be as low as Salah can be at like 110. Maybe you could wait a week. So, yeah, I guess it's gone now, isn't it? It's gone, but it does make you, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But it does make you think is actually maybe it would have been punt time. And I think that's the stuff we've sort of, talked about is that it's just been so tough in terms of it feels like no one misses. So it feels like even me, who's a pretty safe player, can think of situations that I didn't get in on. So I didn't captain James this week, despite the fact that I knew it Saturday morning, just searching Twitter, you were like, God, literally everybody's captaining James here. It was at least sort of 7 out of 10 people you'd see their sort of team, the old lock, was captaining it. And I was like, nah, it's just too risky. But I didn't feel that comfortable not going in with him. And then, like the Bruno one that happened in the double game week where he got the 50 points again, a lot of people got on that. And no, not me, not you, know, and it made me sort of think last night. We saw.
You making me go to that slide already?
Are we going straight to that one? Or are we going to go to our weeks first?
Let's go to our weeks first. Let's just
do our weeks first.
While we're talking about like the polarizing, the polarizing game week that is, we might as well just quickly run through, what we're looking at. So, as of Saturday night, I mean, I was initially projected to be 11 points behind. I think it was in the end, and immediately after the Saturday afternoons, I went down to 30 behind, which was pretty savage behind the average. So what we've got on screen for those listening is the difference to average from FPL optimized. I'm looking at my data versus the top 100k, and after what the games that have gone so far, so we're on Sunday evening now, I'm projected to be 25 points behind the top 100k on average. It hurts. It's painful. Yeah. Saturday ruined me. The last time I had such a sharp arrow down like that was when I didn't have Salah triple captain in 26. So it's not like I'm not used to these nice, lovely, downward, sharp lines. But yeah, it's still not nice to look at. But I know where I'm supposed to be. So and I'm projected to finish. Yeah, so I'm projected to finish the game week about 25 points behind. So it's not very good.
There's so many engaged managers, isn't there? Like
loads.
When you look at it and you're like, I mean, I've noticed it this season, the top 10k, and I'm not a regular top 10k man. That's not been where I'm at. We're relative, although we've played, the game a long time, we still considered ourselves to be casuals for a long, long time, and are now finding our way, and we're learning, and that's part of what we're doing. So I'm not, pretending to be a pro because I'm sitting outside the top 1k. But it shocks me how quickly that top 10k moves. But you look at this, top 100k moves quick. Everyone moves quick. Top 500k moves quick. This is with
Trent and Saka in there as well. It's just that's how.
Yeah, so many engaged managers, and there's so much content available, and then there's all the sources that we've talked about. Suddenly I noticed the James one that review and Mikhail Tokman, suddenly James was the outstanding candidate, and there must be so many that just outsource to that.
Yeah. While we're doing that, we might as well talk about yours then.
So I'm tracking just about. I was expected to have a good week because I bench boost, and I obviously wildcard in 26. So this is my team that was set up all for doing this. So I should have a good week. And
so
currently,
you're actually bang on
where I should be. I should be, as it stands, I should be 17 points above the average, or 17.3, and I am 17.47. So
Mate, getting that 27 point, so you projected to finish almost 28 points ahead of the top 1K, which means ultimately if all things being equal and everything goes to plan, you should be in the top 1K by the end of the game week.
I should be, and need to be though, because I am using a chip. I'm going to be very light on chips come game week 30. I'll have one free hit and that'll be me. So, don't panic for people that are not there. A lot of people are going to bench boost in 36. Looks like 4 or 5 doubles in that game week. So I could be losing, I'm going to be losing a minimum of 4 games on most people.
Yeah.
80% of the top 10K have not played their bench boost, and I'm going to lose to them. So I've got to make, I've got to make ahead, including, I've got the triple captain as well. And I've got to try and find a way to push through it. And I've played my hand, haven't I? I've played my wild card. I've gone for it and said, this is the time where it'll work for me. So hopefully I will finish 27 points above the average. That would be
hopefully.
Beautiful.
So yeah, so I've just brought up on screen just now is a tweet from Mark. Mark Southerns, and he's just basically said, in all my time playing FPL, I've never known a season that was rewarded and punished at key game weeks than this. Salah HT? Oh, hat-trick. That's a Salah hat-trick. Sorry, yeah. Salah hat-trick, Havertz blank, Salah missed penalty 0, Salah triple captain, now Havertz and James with massive hauls. Almost every time the FPL community has split, the output has been extreme. And that is so true. The FPL community, at least. I mean, I know we're a bubble, but the FPL community, whether it be like 5K managers or whatever, we do get split on. We have been split on quite a few weeks, and these have been the ones. And I think those with the Salah missed penalty, for example, are some people that not only that, but quite a few people around that time had probably took a free hit to get him back in for that particular week for that Leicester game. Salah triple captain, that's pained me, but in retrospect probably was the wrong decision. But Havertz and James this week, yeah, it's been really tough, and it's you can see that with me and you. And as I say, I'm going to be 25 points behind. You're going to be 27 points behind. Fine, we've got completely different rank tiers, but we've got a 50-point swing between us in a game week, which is mental.
Yeah. For two guys who chat every week,
like every day, we're talking about it. And then there's a couple more examples here, without giving away names and stuff like that. But there's someone here with they're projected to be 28 points above the average. That's versus the top 10K,
despite the fact that they were predicted to be 5.6 below the average. So
they were predicted to be 5.6 below the average. They're going to finish 28 above it,
as it stands.
And someone else predicted to be 6.6 points behind the average.
So about the same.
Just maybe a point less. Is going to be 40 points down.
70-point swing between those two guys who were predicted very similar weeks.
Mental.
70-point swing.
That's you just lose a game week. Like, that's it. One game week's just gone.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. And that's hard. That's really hard. And there's not, so we talk about these opportunities to come back, and but everyone's got similar, or quite a few people have got similar chip strategies. It's only really going to be those. It's only really where everybody kind of split in 26 between the triple captain and the wild card, where there's going to be a sort of definitive. There might be some other opportunities, but then actually quite a few of the chips are going to be used up by 30 anyway.
It's an absurd season, though. You got to think about all the doubles and stuff that have happened this season.
So when you get top 1K, I can asterisk this season. Is that what we're saying?
You can, but I will not. But it's not. No, I can't wait to actually see, because I think so much of this season, certainly for me, is a lot of the analytics stuff has really changed a little bit about how I think. And I think that's the same for a lot of people. Even what we're looking at now, and like the difference to the average and all those type of things. These are all tools we didn't have to know how we were doing. FPL review is just, it's become a staple for just about everybody.
You want to talk about that? You want to talk about that tweet we saw on Saturday? You pulled up on Saturday.
Is
that FPL average with his second team? That's just literally making decisions based on what the FPL review. I'm not sure whether he's using the free model or the massive data model. Is he using MD?
Massive data, I think.
So he's using massive data model. He's currently sitting. Well, when he tweeted, he was sitting 143rd in the world. I mean,
just
if you want,
following the recommendation.
Sorry, yeah. So following literally the transfer suggestions, the only thing he's making decisions on is chips, and that's basically following the herd on the chips primarily.
Yeah.
So if you want an analytics versus grass FC argument,
those boys have smashed it. It's so good. We can't ignore it anymore, and we have to try and make the decisions off of what we're seeing, and that's where I hope we talk a lot about games, and I think we have to try and hope what do we glean from that might change a little bit about what's seen, but we're not going to beat them. We just need to use them.
This is it. I mean, and it's going to make me wonder how we're going to get because casuals are going to get even further behind because they just will not use the information that's there.
I don't know, because I think it could end up just becoming part of it. If you think about NFL fantasy, when you play NFL fantasy, it shows you the predicted points next to it. When you're looking at who do I bring in this week, there's the predicted points for them for the next few weeks. Like,
I don't think official FPL is going to get anywhere near that, mate. We can't even get them to update shit on time.
I know.
Start putting expected points in front of there. Although that would be an evolution. To be fair.
Does the ICT index, does that not do that for us?
I don't know.
We don't know what it is.
Well, it's influence, creativity, and threat, but we don't really know what that
is. That what it stands for? Do you know what? I've never heard.
Mate, really? Seriously? There's it has three options at the top. No, but look, there's influence, creativity, and threat are three of the subheadings, right?
I don't know.
Have you not seen that in the stats? Right.
No.
Mate.
Is that those words that appear under their names? Like between that and I've never looked at.
Right. Okay,
I've never looked at that.
For fuck's sake.
No, we're not looking at them.
No,
I can't face it.
I am. I'm going to do it on my phone.
Is it going to say that Salah's number one?
Probably, yeah. Yeah,
give me a player. I have
no idea
what
my phone is.
I'm going to pick Kane.
Oh, go on, pick Kane. Go on then.
Oh yeah, influence 3 of 90 of 90. Is that 93 strikers?
Yes.
Creativity 6 of 93, threat 2 of 93, ICT index 2 of 90. Get him.
Sounds like
2 of 93. Get him.
Influence, creativity, and threat. I can't believe you didn't know that. It's literally written in the app. Well, we don't use it because there are better tools, mate. That's why. Yeah. It's they'll have to evolve from that. They'll have to introduce some sort of XG related statistics or something like that within the future. I mean, Sky Sports are getting there and all that.
People are embracing it, mate. Like you can just see the amount of transfers happening now. There's so much information available. True,
very true. It's gonna make it very. I mean, even in one of my mini leagues, which is a work mini league from like 2011-12 when I first started. That's like the mini league that I want to win every year. If there's one mini league to win, it's that one. Because I love the bragging rights. I've won it once. I was like 11k OR in the end. And I always get shit because I always used to take 4-point hits for all. I was literally in email chains. I was like, Adam 4-point in brackets. Like literally, that's how bad it was. And so I'd always like to win that one. But and I finally got it a couple of years ago. But even what I'm saying is, even the guy who is generally top of that league, I've noticed that he's very much in tune with what the Twitter community is going, and I think he's stalking. I think he's stalking the community slyly. He's in and around it, just gathering information and stuff like that. And he's by no means a casual. I mean, I think his Hall of Fame all-time rank is higher than yours. I think I'm pretty sure he's a very consistent, very good manager. But yeah, it just goes to show that I think he was using Scout before, but yeah, they're now he's just getting as much information as he can. So
yeah, and it's just it's just every site's got some form of prediction now. Whether it's Fix, Scout, Hub, any of them, they've all got something.
So we move on to
move on to I saw that tweet last night by Mark. And interestingly, I thought about the number of conversations we have, and I thought to myself, funny, my take from the season is that I don't feel like I've had any of the pain, but I feel like there's a load of stuff where I've kicked myself of not having the opportunity. So I look at where I am now and I think, I didn't get the Bruno Hall. I didn't get James. There's some other ones where people have gone, this is a chance, and I've gone for it. Maybe this week, as well with the Rafinha cap. I feel like there's just a few regrets probably for me. But regrets is nothing compared to experiencing crappy pain, and then I thought, well, yours has been a lot more variable. And so what I thought I'd go and look at is not so much, it's not necessarily the good stories. This is the ones where it hurts. So this is the pain piece. And looked at each week. Now you got to remember at the start of the season is the ownership in the top 10K swings wildly. Like basically, if you do well, you're in the top 10K. So it does swing a lot. But how many times has a player in the top 10K who's been over 50% effectively owned and achieved a double-digit haul, how many times have I missed out? So if Trent got a double figure, Cancelo got a double figure, Salah gets a double figure, whatever it is, how many times did I miss out on any of those ones on the big boys owned? And I haven't missed a single one of those. The closest is Bruno was like 44% owned or something like that on that double game week. But I've not had any where they were over 50% owned. And I was like, yeah, that's quite dull. And I don't like the idea of missing out in that sense. And I don't think it's FOMO. Like, I think I've often called it FOMO, but it is more of a case of I don't want that. I don't want that pain, and I'm like, there must be a reason everyone's going there. And so I do keep a good eye on where the market's going. And I do often try to work through in my brain of like, where's this going to be from an effective ownership? What's it going to be there? I've noticed Fix are starting to do predicted on, and they're pretty good. So I look out for that tweet every week, but I try to look it out and work it out myself. So I knew that Chelsea had something like, I think it had worked out something like about 800,000 transfers in. And I thought, wow, that's the whole game. But if that's like that, I reckon every one of the top 10K is at least one of them. So I figured Chelsea were going to be 130, 140% owned. And I was like, not having that, thanks. I'll get James in. I still go the way that I wanted to go. I want the upside. So I wanted to go James. When I had easier routes to Rudiger and Thiago. But yeah, I haven't. And then I looked at yours.
So I am listening. The missus just texted me saying, do you want McDonald's? So
is that yes?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's going to come in mid-pod. So fun times.
Beautiful.
Sorry, carry on. Talking about my pain.
Your pain. And I was like, how many times does it happen? I was like, oh. happened there. Now, there's quite a few because you made the decision to go about Trent at the start. You try to cover it with the Simicast one, go high. And then eventually you were like, this is too far. So, and I think there's some lessons there around the not hurt is we have to work out how we use these analytics tools and what we're going to do to try and work through them. And you can either just be, I'll use a solver that tells me exactly what to do, or you can work out, well, this is what it's saying. And I can look and work out what the market's going to be able to work through where's my opportunities and where's my potential pains. And when should I hit? So looking at that, it's like, we should just hit Trent, like just get it done early and found a way,
that was it. I mean, it was like, I think it was 11 and 12 that I didn't have him, and he was hitting me for like 8 points a week effectively.
Yeah.
The game week 12 was like 10, 11 points. And I was like, look, I could take a minus 16 here and be positive in like 2 weeks' time. It's like, what the fuck am I doing? And that is why I hit him in as part of a -4 immediately on the Saturday at about 7:30, just after the Arsenal game had finished. So
but by that time, if you look at that, you had what was there 1, 2, 3, 4. You had 5 double-figure Trent hauls that you missed out on It's probably 40 points on your season. If you stuck an extra 40 points on your season right now.
Cool, let's just start adding those up. 40 points for that.
Absurd.
Captain Salah instead of Havertz in 9.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that bit. But it's the not getting done over bit is a big deal, because it gives you a platform then to attack. And that's the bit where I've got regret, because if I then look at my captains, this week was an odd one because everything was an attack, really, because nobody was particularly big owned. Even those that went Salah, they were like, wow, I've got like 100% owned of Salah this week. But realistically, through the season, I've had all the people in my team, so I was never getting massively done over. And I've also gone the obvious captain a lot of the time. And I'm like, there's a lesson for me there, that there's times where I can go, I'm in a good place to punt, and I probably should. You've doubled down. So you're my place is not adventurous enough. If we look at yours, it's like, oh, well, you've done lots of adventurous captains whilst also not having the players. And what I did notice,
it's like it's basically essentially trying to cover the players that I don't have. It's a completely different way of thinking it. It's hoping that the players that are supposed to do well will not do well, and hoping that the one player that shouldn't do well does do well. And
so you captain them, and then you think, well, actually, they'll not only might that work out, but it'll cover any particular, and you never know, if they don't bang, then I absolutely smash it. And this season, that's when that tweet, when I looked at this, was like, that tweet really resonates here, because it's like, you had your Havertz against the Salah one, and that hurt. But what I never even thought about at the time was, you also probably took 9 effective points against Trent that week.
And I took a -8 as well.
And you took a -8. So you're basically 17 points down, even if you captain Salah.
Yeah. I mean...
And then the fact you didn't captain Salah was like, well, no one, because I was like, how was it so bad that, like, because it did genuinely like double the rank, at the time, if not more. But it's that ability, giving yourself that platform to be able to attack, that suddenly was like, oh, I get it now, actually. And then actually what I did see is the 2 times it's really paid for you in a good place was you took Salah on with Cancelo, and Cancelo was the only person that double figure hauled in that week. You literally made that Havertz drop back, didn't you, in that week?
Yeah,
I remember it was like literally all gone.
But then again, as you say, -8 on the transfers and -9 points on Trent. So
yeah,
I did and I didn't.
And the Jota Bowen week in 24, where it was 2 sort of mid-price assets, don't get me wrong, they both did really, really well in the end. So I had Jota, and that worked out well with the Leicester game. But you went KDB, so you had the Jota points singly, you had the Bowen points singly, and then you got 22 points out of KDB when nobody had him. That was a genius call. So you've got some genius ones in there that I'm very envious of. Imagine if I'd done those with my season. But,
the thing is, bar 28 right now, right? I mean, bar 28. Let's look at who we've captained though. I mean, it's not like I'm captaining bad players. Like, this is the thing. It's like I'm not captaining bad players, and I've captained in that time Bruno, Mahrez. I mean, Salah was one of my bad ones in game week 4, but Havertz, fine. I think we worked out actually the Havertz move probably was a bad move. I think that was probably the only thing about that one. But yeah, Salah, Cancelo, Bowen, KDB, Trent. The only real bad player you'd say in there is JWP, who I've got this week.
It was a bit of fun this week. In a way, it wasn't that. It hasn't worked out that fun. I genuinely think when we really look at it, though, it's the haulers that you didn't own. That's probably, if you add up that effective loss, it's probably more. And that's the bit I think if you're an adventurous captainer, you've got to have the high owners. You just got to have them, because everyone is just so well informed, and if you look at the players that did haul in those weeks, it's just Trent, Cancelo, Salah. They have a lot of them. So actually, if you take those out and just said, well, they're logs, just going to take them off the table. Bowen is then just gone on a mad run. Like, you can't afford to wait. I think that's what it does show me, is like, last season where you had the Gundo and Lingard situations and a lot of people waited on those ones. When someone really shows it and you can see it positionally, you got to do it. We kind of knew. I went on Bernardo earlier this season, and I kind of knew it wasn't going to be like a brace every game type situation. I thought it'd be better than it was, but the Bowens were just obvious. The Jota when he's playing up front, Foden a little bit when he was in that fine form. The Antonio and Ben Rama early on, and then just the James one is just kill people, absolutely kill people.
The frustrating thing about Bowen is I'm just trying to find it now, but I am almost certain that I had Rafinha earlier on in the season and then said, he's a good make way to Bowen in like game week 18, and I can almost certainly tell you that I did not get him in game week 18, which meant I missed game week 20, 21 and 24 hauls. I think I brought him in for like 24 on... Maybe I brought him in for 21 on wildcard. I must have done because I've captained him.
It's showing us now, like, if we see a player and we like them, even if we hit them, we just get them. We just get them.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
Fun, but we got to try and use stuff like review and the likes to say, is this actually a good deal? Are we getting good things out of it?
I think I've just had a quick look on FPL reviews, like season review type thing, and just to see, where I'm at compared to where I should be as well. And, my luck and my variance to where I should be is actually nowhere near yours, actually, because I'm exactly where I should be because I take risks.
Yeah,
and that's how I tend to play the game. I don't know. I'm probably more frustrated now that I'm part of FPL Twitter than I was before. And that's probably the thing as well, is it just because I never used to care, because I never used to see all these. I used to get pissed off in our WhatsApp group when you scored more points than me. I used to get pissed off with that mini league because these guys were scoring more than me. Outside of that, I couldn't give a shit. I literally couldn't care less. And now
now we're in this massive mini league of thousands of people.
Exactly. It's like being in a massive mini league and then just people just plastering like 90 points. Like, hey, fuck off, mate. I've got nothing. I walked onto a space yesterday afternoon. And I clicked a request to join, and I think it was Sharik space. And I walked on, I joined. They went, Adam, fuck off, don't gloat. I was like, mate, I've got no points. And I was literally sitting on game week net 0. I was like, I've got no points. I'm not here to gloat. I'm only on 45. I captained James, and fuck off.
Yeah. There were people, I saw that yesterday that were like that. But I do think it. And then I woke up this morning. I saw our friend Pranel's tweet. I couldn't believe it because I was literally thinking, I looked at this and then woke up this morning and he said, and he's known as being an upside chaser, but, got to know Pranel very well over the last 2 years, and much more thoughtful than people ever give him credit for. But he said the words that, modern day FPL is about putting yourself in the position to get lucky, providing you're not in a position to not get fucked. And I was like,
it's quite wise considering the amount he had to drink the day before as well.
Yeah, I'm amazed he managed to do that as well. But I'm very good at not getting fucked. I think that's what it obviously.
I'm very good at not putting myself. I'm very good at not putting myself in a position to get lucky. I either get extremely lucky or I get fucked. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
That's how it works. But
so it's definitely something I want to try and keep an eye on a bit more and just think to myself, well, this is working. But maybe there's times where I can attack a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm still here on a Sunday evening, despite the game week, talking about it, and just because who cares?
And maybe we've got to work that through Russ, and you have to work that in your own little teams. But I didn't say to you Saturday morning, by the way, you're going to get fucked if this goes bad.
Well, to be fair, I kind of knew.
He did know, but maybe sometimes we just got to have that conversation of, you might get fucked here, mate.
Yeah. Good conversation to have.
It is. It is. We all know. We all know when we're going to get fucked.
So, should we move on to the games?
No, move on to games. Yeah,
oh, good. Well, let's start with Leicester Leeds. What did we think of that game?
Rafinha got fucked.
Basically, yeah. So many chances. I mean, from what I saw, they just created so much. Lots of small chances, but they just created a load of chances. And then, we say it every week, like Leicester always score. They
always score. They got good players. Have you got that? We got a graphic, haven't we? We've got a few graphics stolen and pilfered from other places. Leicester Leeds
so let's just give people credit. So at @_that_crab, with some lovely little XG data.
I love it. It just shows. I mean, Leicester just plodded along. And then the mad bit is that what you're looking at is that, Leeds came at the blocks firing, new manager firing. Then it was just a meh of a first half.
I like the fact they've missed a chance that has a higher XG than a penalty after an hour. What chance was that?
Rafinha.
Oh, it was Rafinha.
Just put it straight at it.
Why did I not see that?
You're not seeing 2-yard out miss.
Oh, to be fair, no, actually, because I started to watch Match of the Day this morning, and then
he missed some 2 yards.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
He finished low. Schmeichel does, like his dad, makes himself big. Yeah, it makes himself big and hits his leg, and out it comes. But it's 2 yards out, so it's a massive XG. He had that little chance after that as well, the little bump up you can see on the graph straight after it. So they were suddenly massively in control. Leicester were completely on the ropes. Iheanacho came on. Vardy's legs are gone. Beautiful little 1-2. Lovely finish from Barnes. I thought that was quite interesting because we've joked about before, like keepers love him because they always get save points to get him. He just blasts it. But that was a nice side foot finish.
Yep.
Man's playing well.
So I didn't see the Rafinha chance, but I saw the goal. But yeah.
Yeah. Maddison's back's hurting, apparently.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's something not right. Though. The other thing is that Dewsbury Hall and Tillmans are basically, and Didi are basically playing as free defensive midfielders. So because they know their central defenders are not good, they're basically finding a way to play forward at the back by sticking free defensive midfielders in the middle. And Dewsbury Hall and Tillmans are playing that wide role well. And then you need some width and so Barnes has become a real outlet. Looks like everything goes his way.
I mean, you would have to though, wouldn't you? When the other side is all Brighton, and not that I'm knocking all Brighton from he's your Ben Davis 7 out of 10 kind of guy. So he's not gonna light up the world.
Appalling,
not appalling, but he's good enough to create a distraction, and then
that's it though, isn't it?
Sharky.
So I thought maybe Maddison, if he was okay, might come off the right, but you're like, I don't know, maybe. They had a bit, didn't they, last season where Nacho was playing a little bit out wide, and almost at times Vardy went to the out wide and played it. So maybe they will try that. I thought they looked a much better team when Nacho's on the pitch.
It's that time of season for him.
That time of season, yeah, I wouldn't rule it out.
They've got a lot going on with obviously the Europe coming up. I think that's what they were saying, that Brendan Rodgers was saying he wanted to focus on Europe for Maddison to be ready.
Yeah.
I think the Leicester, I think people are going to start migrating there. I don't think you'd want more than 2, but I think if you're going to go with a free hit in 30...
Where'd you go?
I mean, you have to go Vardy. You have to.
Yeah.
You have to go Vardy, and I would probably... Yeah, I think... I'd like Tielemans because he's probably going to be on pens, although is he with
But now
Vardy?
He's playing like a right defensive midfield. He's not even playing that number 8 role anymore. He's playing a proper...
True.
Watch his heat maps. It's so far back he is now.
Yeah, that's more.
It's just Barnes is the standout for me.
No,
Vardy's your next option is that, and nobody else I can see that I'd want to go near.
Probably Casper. You'd probably get Casper, wouldn't you?
I think Casper and Wildcard's still a good bet because they've got so many games to play.
True.
But the games are against teams, and you're like, I like the other team. They've got to play. Arsenal, I think, haven't they? And they've got to play Chelsea and Arsenal, I think.
Can't remember. You told me to take that graphic out, mate. So
yeah, we're not fixtures. There's plenty of pods on fixtures.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough for me about that. Coutinho.
Fuck. I tell you what, this is probably the result of the weekend that I was genuinely the most surprised at. Like literally, like Southampton for me, 1 defeat in 10. They were cooking on gas. They were playing very, very well, and they were absolutely blown away in the space of about 15 minutes. Absolutely blown away, and I didn't think they did too much wrong in that first half, but like Coutinho could have had about 5 goals. Like,
that's a good front three in it, and that is a proper front three, really. How they played as that Coutinho, Watkins, and Ings is a really good front three. I
thought Ings was pretty disciplined as well, actually, for someone. Yeah, because he came out wide when he needed to, but generally held the centre. And to be fair, if he goes out wide, and that's the nice thing about it, because if he goes out wide, Ings can fill that gap, and then Coutinho can float in, and then he just makes it really difficult to pick up a player like Coutinho, which is you just don't want to give him that much space.
I think we always think of him just as a Southampton boy that was like up front on his own, but you got to remember a lot of times they did have 2 up top at Southampton, and then Dyche, when he was at Burnley, was a 2 up top job. Even at Liverpool, he'd often get like shuffled out wide and come on like late and stuff like that. So he knows what to do. He's not just a number 9 on his own type player. He can do it, and fair play. They're going to play that team again. And Coutinho, we all know he's a special player.
Yep,
we got lucky. Anyone that didn't that either didn't cap or didn't have him, in a way. I don't know what to read into Saints at all. I think you just need to see the second game and then work through and think, because their fixtures don't get much. They're good this game, so they've now got home to Southampton and then home to Watford. Is the game after that? Is Watford in it or Norwich? Watford.
I have no idea, but I just feel like I want to get rid of Ward-Prowse already.
Yeah,
I feel that pissed off. Yeah,
Watford, and then in 31 they'll away to Leeds. So I think Ward-Prowse, he's a big decision for us in 29.
Well, the thing is, I can get someone in that doubles in 29 and then plays in 30. I mean, that feels bigger.
Is he ginger and from Sweden?
He might be.
Yeah,
it's an easy move, isn't it? It's quite.
Kulu plays tomorrow night, mate. He's coming in.
Yeah, I think so. Cool. So Villa, Coutinho, very good. Watkins, good. Digne not playing.
COVID.
Yeah.
But who knows whether he plays that second game or not. But yeah. I kind of feel like he won't, don't you? Difficult to know, but we'll find out. You seem to get information on a press conference if they're back, but you don't get press conference information say they're not there. So
it might be a few cheeky Saka first benches coming in for that.
Yeah, and even I've seen Trent, Robbo, Van Dijk, all sorts of madness on the benches.
If you're benching Trent, I mean, even you're a dick.
I benched him on bench boost.
Well, that's fine. You're allowed to do that. That's fine. You can call him bench.
It's licensed, single game week player.
Yeah, exactly. But if you're just benching him for Saiss or something, like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Right. So Burnley, Chelsea. Oh fuck, Burnley, Chelsea. Right, these fuckers, honestly, like on the reverse fixture, I own 3 of them at the back, and Vidra scored with 10 minutes to fucking go this time round.
It should have happened again, though. We got a graphic on that as well, haven't we? We got the graphic on that just to see how good Burnley were first half. So Burnley smashed them up.
They basically created 1 XG in the first half. Should have had something.
They pressed them hard. They turned ball over. They had all the chance. Look how big the chances are on those steps. They're proper steps, on that XG graph.
0.3, 0.5.
Big
roughly.
time.
Big steps.
They were the better team going into that into the half time. Tuchel's a good manager, and they're a good team, and they just worked out some overloads. So they just started. It looked like what they started to do was basically they played like 3 DMs at Burnley, and then just pressed it and created and did like a double overload on the right hand side. So their left, Chelsea's right, so that James couldn't get forward. So they just basically just dropped Pulisic into the midfield. And then suddenly it was like, oh, there's now an overload on that side. So we now need to shift over. And the second you give James an opportunity on that right-hand side, I mean, that first goal is just...
Who did he have? Who was it? It was he had McNeil, all ends up. Just
McNeil. So bad.
Poor guy. I mean, yeah,
Poor
but he
guy.
was turned inside out, upside down, and decent finish, lowest XG chance of the lot.
Incredible. And then they go, crap, we now need to go back to 4-4-2. And the second they come out of that high pressure situation, Chelsea just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
Just bang, bang, bang. So quickly. That's why they...
Yeah, and they just didn't have anything from the 30th minute. They just couldn't get anywhere near Chelsea's goal.
That's why they win lots of trophies, mate. That's why they do the stuff they do, killer instinct, and they just absolutely pulled them apart.
And they're definitely...
Pulisic. I thought Pulisic, it's low-key getting back in the game.
Do you think, what is he, 8 million?
Don't know. He can't be that expensive.
He's about that. Why can't I go in?
He must have had some drops. 7.9. He is nearly 8 million.
I had a heart attack there almost because I was talking about not the McDonald's that's coming, but I pressed a button on the Fantasy League website. It says, "Sorry, you're not allowed to do that." I was like, "Shit, has my team actually been hacked?" After making a joke on Twitter earlier, but no, it's fine. My team's fine.
But played 90 as well. Like, I used to get taken off quite a bit, but played 90 this week. Played 90 in the Palace game.
Yeah.
So he's getting in the team. Could be a fun option. Mount, quite high hopes for Mount so far, and felt like he was I feel like when James is back, James is just the better person, isn't it? So therefore, he just became that. He's a good worker, Mount, and he just became that man in the hole that Pulisic and Havertz and James are doing all the glory, and he's just doing the nice recycling. So he'll probably get a hat-trick against Norwich because he got 24 points or wherever he was last time he played him now. So we'll see how that goes. But
just a quick flashback to Polarising Gameweeks and tweets and all this sort of shit. It's people saying...
What game was that again? That Havertz one? The Norwich one, wasn't it? Look at your face.
Shut up. No. It took me away from my train of thought as well. I mean, people have been saying, like, don't worry, you've had a bad game week. There's more games to come back. And everyone's sitting there like, yeah, there's more games for the guys that have already fucked me. I mean, like, why do I need to be hurt even more? That's not...
Exactly.
It's not what I want. It's
not getting better.
Right. Screw it.
Newcastle,
Brighton. There's a win for us there, surely.
What a win for us, boys.
What a win.
Cheers
for that. Fraser share, thanks very much. Couldn't quite squeak the clean sheet out of there, otherwise that share would have been a 15-pointer, would it not? Probably.
We didn't bring him in though, did we?
No. Nor Fraser.
But if anyone did, get us in the comments. Say you saw it last week and let us know that you got it. Raise your glass and we'd love to know. So, yeah. I don't know if Brighton are bad or not. I can't work it out because the performance, the results are bad. But you look, and they still do okay in the XG, but you're like, well, they always do well, right? Okay in the XG.
Just very average players as well. Yeah. They've always done.
Webster, though. I saw a stat or something like that, something ridiculous, like 11 games out this season and they've won one, something like that.
Jesus.
And, the home game, they're bad at home. And in 29, they're facing Liverpool and Tottenham at home.
Nice.
Norwich, Brentford decided to give loads of penalties.
I was going to say, funnily enough, in the reverse fixture, I think we all had Tony and Bumo for a combined total of like 3 points. And then this week they turned out with like almost 30 points between them.
Incredible.
Thanks very much.
Incredible. Could have even more, couldn't it? I think.
Bumo had a goal disallowed because of a because Pinnock was offside from a throw-in. Is it Pinnock was offside from a throw-in or something, or Janssen or whoever it
Can't be
was?
offside from a throw-in, can you?
Well, he threw it in, and then it was played back to him, and he was offside.
Oh.
Yeah, no, you can't be offside from a throw-in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have Norwich given up?
I think so. It feels like it, which is perfect because they've got Chelsea next.
Maybe they'll rest everyone though.
What, Chelsea?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice. James, Binham. Well, in fact, everyone else doesn't. Rudiger? Yeah, give him a rest.
Oh, please give Rudiger a rest. Just please give Rudiger a rest.
Wolves? Palace? Like, Wolves was just like falling off a cliff.
Bruno Lage is a bit of a wanker, I think. I've just decided that now after this week is I just didn't like the fact that he then decided to. So Hoover, the young lad,
was it? Oh no, not Aït-Nouri.
It was Hoover. Yeah, Hoover gets injured, and then he basically said, "Well, he didn't prepare well enough. They're all out of shit. Get him out." You're like, what? It's not really going to work, mate. Like, I feel like he's just like it's like Ghost of Nuno in that he's just suddenly started going a bit miserable. Like, what happens in March at Wolves? I've got 3 of them. Good. Good. And Watford created loads of chances. I was thinking, oh, well, we've got Watford next one. That'd be all right. But Watford created a load of chances. Yeah, Palace, Zaha. He's doing the business, Zaha. He really is. And none of us are going to go there. I feel like basically Elise is so good that Zaha has just decided to go, I better show that I am the main man. But flying. 25 points his last 3 games. Absolutely flying.
Oh, he's on pens, that helps.
I mean, he's not very good at them, but he is on pens.
Liverpool West Ham?
Yeah, no. Liverpool West Ham.
There's a bit of an on. Well,
you just knew within about 3 minutes that Trent was getting top bonus, didn't you?
Yeah.
You can sometimes see it with Trent that you're like, well, this is top bonus.
Well, just like 2 or 3, but it just immediately started pinging passes between him and Henderson.
As soon as he pinged that one over the top to Salah, and Salah.
Oh yeah.
Salah misses a big chance, and you're like, well, that's -3 for Salah and +3 on the baseline for Trent. So then you're like, well, he's now got to get 2 goals.
Yeah, I mean, look, if there'd been an equaliser and Trent hadn't assisted the goal, he still would have had top bonus. So
if 2 things have gone wrong, that's what it would have taken to get him off top bonus.
He was so far ahead.
He's an animal.
I mean, so an assist is 9 and the clean sheet is 12. So yeah, he had 27 baseline.
And he had some ridiculous defensive interactions. I mean, the thing with Liverpool, so you can see they've had some.
Mane would have been top bonus, actually.
Yeah, some big chances. Trent, I don't think I've ever seen a player so good at landing a ball. Like, everyone talks about how good, but it's the landing space, is that he manages to land the ball just far enough away from the keeper that the keeper doesn't commit. And it always just lands on someone's foot to be able to go, like, one bounce and I'll stab it. And Mane is very good at stabbing it. Jota often fluffs it a little bit, and Salah can sometimes just be a bit too cute with it. I always find, with it is, and I actually think like it works best normally when it lands on Mane's feet. The other way round, though, I had this thing on Twitter earlier. I was saying about Alisson. I reckon if Mane was up against Alisson, he'd miss, because he somehow just makes everybody shit themselves. He's so good, Alisson, and it's purely positional. It doesn't. I mean, when he wants to dive, he's still fantastic, but he just gets himself into such a good position that you often just see him fall, both legs on the floor, just hand out. Yeah, that's off. Push that out of there. Push that over there. He's so strong-armed and so good positionally. He's low-key hammering the points, is Alisson. Only 4 defenders have got more points than Alisson this season, and 3 of them play for Liverpool, and the other one's Cancelo.
Jesus.
Like, none of us go anywhere near him. He is flying. You know, he's got 10 bonus points now for the season. Normally, it's like one of those 4.5 defenders, isn't it? 4.5 keepers that gets the massive bonus because they're just way overperforming and keeping teams in it.
And getting peppered with shots, so they're getting save points and they're just...
But that's what he's doing, isn't it?
The old clean sheet just pings them up to 3 bonus, yeah. The old Nick Pope jobby.
If you play Liverpool, you get chances.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean you score them because he's so good. You know, they should have scored, what's that on the XG there? 1.2, 1.3. So they should have scored. Yeah. And if you see the chances, they look like more than that. Lanzini one at the end, huge. But they shit themselves. They literally get there and I'm like, ooh, he's so good. I feel like it's the black kit, everything about it. He just sort of turns up and is like, it's good beard. He's like some kind of like Bond villain, isn't he? Like he wouldn't look out of place, just turns up and just goes, you're missing this, mate. Just literally, you're missing it. Yep, I am. I'm just going to push that over there.
Yeah.
So good. So good. And I don't know if did you see that? It was in that Bilic clip where he talks about Trent and Robbo.
Nope.
It's really good. Basically just saying about how good these fullbacks are. And everyone talks about that they're not that good defensively. And it's like, well, it's quite hard to be good at defence when you're 50 yards out of position because you're playing as a wing back when you're in a fullback formation. Like you're always knackered because you're always fully on the run. Like they're just magical players, those two.
Yeah.
And on to today.
I say people have moved off Robbo. People have moved off the likes of Robbo for James with a success this week, haven't they?
It is, and it's the question of do people go back? That's definitely something for us to look at. 2 games today.
Lots of goals.
Isn't it?
I was surprised. I was surprised that Arsenal conceded twice. I watched quite a bit of the game. I felt they had a lot.
Conceded more though.
Well, yeah. Well, I didn't watch the second half, which probably was where they could have conceded most. Didn't think much in the first half. Thought Arsenal were pretty much on it.
Got done.
Yeah. Obviously, because I picked him, so that's normally what needs to go wrong for a player. I mean, in any game where Moussa Sissoko fucking scores, then like, what the hell are we doing?
He's the GOAT for a reason.
But as I said to you earlier on text, I was like, this is a new Saka. This is just his finishing ability is just so much cleaner than it's ever been. And it's less, as I said, I think I said to it last week or the week before, less cutesy finish and all this flicking over or whatever. It's now proper, I'm getting my foot behind the ball and a proper finish past the keeper. And today's goal was ridiculously good. His pass for Ødegaard as well was good. I mean, I don't think Ødegaard's little flick was mentioned enough actually in that build-up. I mean, I don't think anyone's really mentioned it. And it was just unbelievable.
Saka, Ødegaard and Martinelli are weapons, mate. But then and good players, not just, they score goals, but they can all play.
But like Lacazette's like the top scoring forward over the last 9 game weeks or something like that. I think official FPL tweeted he was like averaging like 5
point scoring.
Yeah.
Not top scoring.
Sorry, he's only scoring.
He's only scored 2 goals in his last 20 games.
Yeah, top point. Okay, fine. Top points scoring though, 5.8 points per game. He's just ticking them along, and he's just like laying them off and making it easy. And then he had a shot. He had a shot in the second half. I think it was early in the second half.
Yeah,
which went about 40 yards wide, and it was like, well, that's why you lay it off.
Just incredible, servant in a way, isn't he? He's the captain. He's literally like 10 years older than these guys, and just saying, "Work around me. I'll just stand in the middle and." They're banging home points. You've got to have at least one. And then
I'm looking at Martinelli for sure. I mean, I'm looking at a JWP, Brownhill, switch to Kulu and Martinelli. I think that feels.
Yeah, I don't think you can go too far wrong with them, mate.
Well,
they're a good
until they're in my team, of course.
And Dennis still looks a good player for me. Genuinely, they're so bad, most of the forwards.
I might as well just leave him in there till game week 38 and just see what happens.
I would. I can see a forward line of Kane.
He's cheap enough.
and Dennis just being the one that people just sit around, and they might flick out if an interesting double comes about, but if not, we probably just stay with it. City, United.
I mean, what can you do? I mean, they're just such a good team. It's just
they're a good team, but I thought United were really in it first half.
Well, first half they were.
Have we got the graphic for them on?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, no, they definitely were, and I think.
But they were in it. They were in it. They had some good chances. I thought that United were playing well, apart from the fact of when they didn't have the ball, because it just looked like City were going to score any point. I
mean, if you haven't seen, well, go on.
That second half. Well, it's the second half, isn't it? It's just flatlined.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to, you should listen to Roy Keane. If you didn't listen to Roy Keane after the game, I mean, he was almost embarrassed for them. Well, he was embarrassed for them. And like conversely, Micah Richards was just in fits of laughter, pissing himself.
Not like him,
because, well, I mean, that's the kind of atmosphere you want at a derby, really, isn't it? You want someone being distraught, and you want the other guy being fucking loving it, and just that's fine.
Yeah.
But they were just so poor off the ball, and they just didn't have it. I think what was it? Once City had scored their second goal, I think it was something like they had. Their third. Is it their second goal, third goal? From the time they scored their third goal, between then and like the 90th minute, they had 92% possession.
It was 79 for the whole second half. 79% for the whole second half. United had no shots, just battered. Cancelo was quite interesting in a way, because I felt that Cancelo was just not in the game for 70 minutes. Like, I didn't see him venture past the halfway line for like 70 minutes. He was always, even when it was like out left, with Bernardo and Grealish were doubling up. And then after about 70 minutes, he was like, stuff this, I'm getting involved. And then that last 20 minutes,
the little bicycle kick in there as well.
Yeah, he had a couple of things where he got to the byline and let the ball out of play, quite unlike him and so forth. But he could easily have. He's still a very, very good asset.
Yeah,
he's still a very, very good asset. I know people will be thinking, "Oh, I should have gone James and stuff," but Cancelo will still have many, many double-figure games.
What was his ownership in the top 10K?
28%. Got away with murder. I mean, so that's it.
Again, just tells you how quickly everybody moves, and yeah, I say that's just it. How quickly everybody moves away when there's potential opportunity elsewhere. Incredible. And James was a massive opportunity with a double, like we said last week. I mean, imagine not going into a double with Norwich and fucking Burnley with like the second best double you could have. So let's just not buy them. Tonight. Let's talk up Newcastle and then not buy them. Let's just.
We've got to be braver.
Yeah. On the right decisions as well. It's got to be more sensible.
Not let ourselves get
fucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the week that is mostly through. It's like we've got a game tomorrow night, and then.
So all I really need is a Kane hat trick, and then I need JWP to score about 5, and then Rafinha to batter Villa on his own, and then I might have a good game week. That's all I need. I feel Norwich, like I'm one of those guys.
A Pookie goal.
Oh, Pookie goal, yes please. A Pookie penalty. I tell you what, if Norwich score that, GIF's coming out. I'm getting it. I'm all over it.
All over it.
Don't care. I'm all over it.
Can't wait.
So
I'm going tomorrow night.
You are?
I'm going to go tomorrow night. Yeah, I'm going.
I've got a ticket, but I think I'm going.
No, I'm going. Definitely going. I just want to sing the song, mate. I've
sung it in a space. I'm not singing it now.
Okay, we'll wait. Next week. Got some questions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We got. Mate, next time, please don't leave just like 15 minutes. Can you leave it like 5 minutes before the pod so we don't get like 35 questions?
Yeah, we've got a few. We've got a few. All right, let's pick some Let's pick some out. Best defenders for FPL Quinton. Best defenders for Gameweek 29 and 30. Matt Doherty, obviously.
Love it.
I mean, if he starts tomorrow night, he's in my thoughts.
And also any Arsenal defender. So Gabriel, Tierney. If you want 29 and 30, that's where you want to go. Wolves, I'm not so confident.
Oh, Tom Stevenson actually asks us, please tell me that Doherty's an option now. Yes, he is.
Absolutely.
If he starts tomorrow night, he absolutely is. Also says, worth the transfers to go Son and Jimmy to Kane and Coutinho in 30. Effectively costing 8 points. I think, again, it is, because I think I want Kane for the rest of the season.
Okay.
But let's see what Son does tomorrow. Another question.
You're not telling me not to get fucked, and I'm thinking I could move Kane to Vardy at some point.
Nah. We've got lots of ton of questions. Tell me the Spurs wing backs. We're thinking Cess and Doc.
We think we are. You think you're going to win that bet, by the way?
I might do now. I might get the old not get to 10 games for Reg, but we'll see.
Nice.
How secure is Kulu? Lucas is in the squad, so if
I still
Kulu
think
plays,
it's Kulu's spot to lose, right? While he keeps performing and has output, like Conte loves his wing back output, but he just loves output, right? I mean, he's all about results. If Kulu's scoring, if he's creating chances, he's not going to drop him. Like that's as far as I can see, unless he's absolutely fucked, then I think he plays him.
And I think the benefit could be that as well, if we're losing, I don't think Kulu necessarily comes off. I think Kulu ends up going a wing back and Lucas comes in. So he's still about, I don't think he's actually even that risk of an early sub. He's playing more minutes than Son at the moment. I just think Kulu's good. I think we're both going to struggle to really not go there in 29. View on Leicester players, Spencer FPL, we said that. Done that one.
Yeah.
Barnes. Triple captain Salah, still the best option.
For 29?
I
mean, there's a lot about maybe City. I mean, I know there's conversations about like City in 36. I think the season will be done by then from the Premier League point of view. Potentially. Yeah. I mean, it could potentially, right? So it's like, do you want to bank on like a Salah double for, Brighton and Arsenal now, or do you want to maybe take the punt that that City don't get to a certain place in one of the other competitions, and that City do go in fact beat Liverpool in 33, because that's what it's going to rely on, right? It's going to rely on them beating Liverpool in 32, is it not?
Yep.
So it relies on City beating Liverpool in 32, and then obviously winning the league from there. If there's and you are taking a bit of a risk on someone like a Cancelo.
Just get it done, I think. I just think it's get it done.
You're at a good week where you will be up against people that are bench boosting, people who've just wild carded, they've set themselves up well. It's a good week to try and take it on. I agree. It's a good week to try and take it on. And I will sit here and I'll try and survive.
Yeah, and I think if you've got a free hit left and you're planning to save it post 30, you want that option of maybe 33 or 36. And that triple captain then suddenly goes, but I've still got to use triple captain, and it pushes you one way. For me, as a person who's wildcarded earlier, and I think most people that look into triple captain, the only reason anyone's looking to triple captain Salah in 29 is because they wildcard in 26 or in it, really. There's not really anyone that's in that boat. So if you are in that boat, the biggest danger for the rest of the season is probably Gameweek 36. So if you've got a free hit, as we've seen this week, those ones that went triple up on the Chelsea with, say, a Havertz and a James have done very, very well. So therefore, it's probably the best way to counter it. And so my plan is to try and hold my free hit to 36 if I can. And then I've got an option to try and fight those guys that are bench boosting. Triple captain Salah or wait for Man City, same question. If you have FPL Finn, triple captain Salah. If you have one free hit, when's best to play with? Don't know yet.
No, well, for me, I'm holding until 33, so I've set myself up to get through 30, and I think I can do that quite well with sort of eight or 9, and I think that'll be enough given the fixtures that are there. I think those that are saying that, the upside in 27 was much higher than that in 30, I think they're probably right. So, whilst I think if you've got 2 free hits, definitely go in for 30. As one of them for 100%, you just get one out of the way there, because it is an opportunity to get 25 points on 20 to 25 points on the field, which you should be able to do in theory. Because you're going to be free hitting in the players that people are bringing in as well, and you're going to have additional players as well. So you should be able to get a good 20 points, I reckon.
Midfield options are interesting this week. One of the questions we had was, do you go on, say, Kulu now, or do you wait because you might want to go Leicester? A lot of people have got Rafinha, Saka and Coutinho, so they've already got 3. And they've got Salah as a 4th. And then if you bring in, say, Kulu as your 5th, well, the only way then that you get a Leicester midfielder is if you take Salah out and then look to bring him back. And that's an interesting challenge that I think people have got. So if you bring Kulu in, you might be blocking yourself out unless you want to take Salah out. And if you held Salah, you could have a lot of value in it.
Yeah, interesting. That's an interesting one.
It's a tough call on that one.
I'm the sort of guy that would take the hokey cokey with it, though.
Yeah, I quite like the hokey.
But then you'd have to do it with, say, Barnes, wouldn't you? And what has he really done? I mean, he's scored this week.
I don't. The thing with Barnes is, I think you can go Barnes in 30, and then you're thinking, I'm keeping him for the rest of the season because he's got doubles. Whereas I don't really like Villa's fixtures. So I might, and also we might find out by 31 that Leeds don't play in 33. So Leeds have got a chance that they might blank in 33. So what I think you could do is you take Salah out and bring Barnes in 30, but then you take out Rafinha or Coutinho to bring him back. Now, because obviously as well, the fact is that those are a little bit more expensive than Barnes, you'll definitely have the money to do it. You won't get priced out. So it's quite an easy move, I think, to come out of it. I think what it does start to lead you down the door of, though, is I think if you're looking at the hokey cokey, you probably shouldn't go for a 3rd Liverpool this week.
No, I agree with that.
And that's the danger one. And we've had a bit of questions around that of do you go for the 3rd one? Have you got just Trent and Salah?
Just Trent and Salah. Yeah.
And I'm the same now because I took Van Dijk out. I think for those that have brought James in, there's a predicament as well. Because if James plays again against Norwich, I think most people would think he would get rested against Newcastle. So you could do it. You could risk it. You could take James back out again and go Robertson, thinking that he won't play. But what if he does play? Home to Newcastle.
Better defensively?
It's still Reece James, mate. He can get 20 points in the game.
Yeah, he can. But he can also go 5 weeks without scoring a point, or basically scoring 1 point. So
he can do.
He can do.
It's just, that if you own Reece James, you're going to get 0.2, aren't you, this week? Oh, no. Probably. He's going to go up 0.2 this week.
Yeah, definitely.
So you start losing some money. And think about that, what I said about don't put yourself in the position to get fucked. He'll be over 50% owned going into this game week. Even if he plays 2.
True.
True. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Any more questions? We've got things about free hits. What do you do strategies wise? Don't know. Not really there on it. What to do with Wolves? Like, would you take Wolves out? I've got triple Wolves. Hey, look, if Wolves clean against Watford and Jimenez scores and they get 20 points, all's forgiven.
I mean, we are particularly what's the word? I can't remember. It describes fickle. We're all particularly fickle, aren't we? So yeah, we'll all be forgotten.
All be forgotten.
But they did concede 2.5 XG against Palace.
They were terrible.
That doesn't just happen.
But we talked about every week is that there's managers out there coaching these players and stuff. And Bruno Lage couldn't have said more to say how angry and crappy he was. The bigger danger is, does your Wolves asset play in that second game now? Because I can't see him not making changes. You just got to wait on them and try and work it out. But yeah,
I think I've seen a couple of questions like, what do you do in bad game weeks and stuff like that? Well, I mean, you're talking to someone or you're listening to someone that's going through a terrible game week. I mean, you know, there are a lot of us as well, so don't think you're alone in that.
Absolutely.
Just have a chat about it. Just have a laugh about it. I mean, just try and just not take it too seriously, take it too to heart, because there has been huge swings in variance. I mean, do you want me to bring this up again? The two guys that were supposed to be a point behind each other, -5.5 points versus the average, -7 points versus the average. One is going to be 28 points ahead, the other is going to be 40 points behind. I mean, that's just the level of control that we have over what happens once the deadline passes. Right? So
exactly.
That's the thing. And it's quite interesting, actually, just to say that I saw a tweet from Sir Talp earlier on yesterday, and they were talking about somebody saying it was a mistake not to bring James in, and he said very clearly that there are no mistakes in FPL, and there's a bit of citation, there's a bit of misquoting, paraphrasing or whatever, but there are no mistakes in FPL. You can't make mistakes in FPL because you have no control over the outcome, unlike chess where you do, in theory. Because there is a direct outcome based on your decision, whereas actually your decision has no bearing on what actually happens within a given game week. So, if you don't worry or try not to worry about the things you can't control, and that's generally good life advice, then you'll feel a lot better about it.
Yeah, I mean,
to be fair, I'm sitting here and my McDonald's is outside the door, and I'm just getting cold.
Well, we got to go, mate. We got to go, but. Yeah, optimised is a good way for the week. But I even said, I texted you on Saturday at half time and was like, God, this is not going well. And I'm like, it's supposed to be good for my temperament that I know that I'm not, that it's not working out. But sometimes when you know that you're putting yourself in a good position and it doesn't work out, it's tough. I always think it's actually more tough in a way than when you knew you were in a bad position. And I still think Optimize is a really good tool for that, because if it tells you you're expecting a loss and you get a loss, you're like, anything good was a little bit lucky. But yeah, we're not finished yet, mate. 4 games to go in this game week, and then crap load more doubles.
Fun times.
Go get your more doubles. Go get McDonald's, mate. We're done. We're out.
We're done. Cool, man. Right. So, just a reminder, follow us on Twitter at AboveAverageFPL, at BakerFPL343. Let us know how you're getting on with the game week in the comments on YouTube, or just if you're listening on audio, send us a tweet, comment on anything that we say, whether me or Baker. Give us both a follow. And
did we plug?
Did we plug? Yeah, we plugged. Did I plug? Did I plug?
If not, Crypto Block Dan. He's our man. He supports us.
Didn't plug.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the normal spiel? Yeah, podcasts available on Apple, Spotify, Google, wherever you get your podcasts from. We're also available on YouTube. Crypto Block Dan, he supports us. What a man! He's quality. Love him to pieces. Crypto World, go follow him. All that good stuff. I need to go and eat. So
we're quite close to 1,000 followers, subscribers on YouTube. So
hitting that subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it.
See you later.
Cheers, mate. Bye.